Welcome, my dear opportunity seekers, and welcome to a new episode of the Remarkable Opportunities podcast. Today, I want to dive deeper into the topic of productivity. So, have you ever wondered why on some days you feel incredibly productive and on the others you feel like nothing is working? Whatever you're doing, you have no motivation? I think we all have been there. In my last episode, I spoke about letting go, setting goals, and also about mental health. And today I want to take it a step further because once you have set the goals, the next big question is how do you actually get the things done? And also, how do you stay productive when life throws you some distractions in your way? This is why I want to share some of my personal favorite productivity tips with you. And they are not just theories, they are strategies I used to stay focused and aligned with my goals, and also that helped me moving forward. And especially on those days when the motivation was really low. So last time we spoke about setting goals, and one of my favorite strategies is setting weekly and monthly goals and breaking it down into smaller, manageable pieces. Because it's so easy to feel overwhelmed when you look at the big picture, but when you focus on what you can do this week or this month, everything feels much more achievable. And here is the key. Make sure that those goals are really important to you. Because once you found your why, everything else will start to make sense. And your actions will align with your deeper purpose. And also regularly check in with yourself and ask yourself, is this goal moving me closer to my vision or further away? Because this helps you to stay on track without veering off course. And if you feel stuck, a tip that a friend of mine always gives me is, Alex, you just have to see the next step. Avoid overthinking the entire journey and just focus on the next step. So let's dive in and start with my productivity tips. The first tip is one of my favorites because I love order. I really love order so much. And it's about keeping your workplace clean and organized. And no, I'm not just talking about your physical desk. This is also very important, but also your digital space is so important because when everything around you is tidy, it clears your mind and makes it much more easier to find exactly what you are looking for, and makes it much more easier to find exactly what you need when you need it. So if you ever sat down to work but spend the first 20 minutes, for example, for just looking for a document, you know how draining this can be. So start fresh each day by cleaning up your workspace, your digital place. This can really help. So next, let's talk about focus. Did you know that every time that you get distracted, it takes about 20 minutes to fully get back into the flow? And this is why minimizing distractions is so important. And this was really a huge challenge for me first, because I used to get constantly interrupted by messages, Instagram or TikTok messages which came in, and so I made a change. I set specific times to regularly check in with my messages, and I turned off notification during my focus work periods. And trust me, this is a really game changer, especially turning off those notifications. So try it and you will be amazed at how much more you can get done when you stay fully focused. So productivity isn't just about big actions, it's all about small, consistent steps. For example, instead of trying to work on a new habit for hours at a time, commit to just 15 minutes a day, for example, for the next 90 days, because that consistency will eventually turn your new habit into something you can do naturally without even thinking about it. And it's those small regular efforts that add up in big results. So if you are feeling stuck and you don't see the progress you want, it might be also time to reflect on your limiting beliefs. So when I took the time to examine my limiting beliefs, or the beliefs which were holding me back, I realized how much they were affecting my productivity. So letting go of those beliefs made really a huge difference for me. So if you haven't listened to my episode on letting go, I can really highly recommend it to you. Because sometimes shedding what's no longer serving you is the first step towards making real progress. So let's move on to the batching tasks. This is such a simple but really effective tip. If you, for example, have 2 podcast episodes to record, then do both of them at the same day and don't spread it out, and use momentum by setting everything up and tearing it down and then doing it all over again the next day. This is what, for example, I have done so many times. I recorded just one episode and I recorded the next episode on the next day, but I needed to build my equipment up again, which really cost so much time. And this is why I found out for myself, if I record, for example, one episode and another one, or one episode and the reels all together, I save time while doing it. And also, what's really important, that you, for example, group similar tasks together, because this also helps you to save time and also to stay in your zone. Another tip that was really helpful for me was the 2-minute rule. So if you have something that takes less 2 minutes, then just do it. For example, if you need to do the dishwasher or something like that, just do it. And you will be surprised how many little tasks you can clear off by the plate this way. This helps you, leaving you more space to focus on the bigger stuff. The next one might be hard for some of us, and it's about learning to say no. So when you're trying to be productive and focused on your goals, it's essential to protect your time. And this means saying no to things that doesn't align with your priorities anymore. And this is not always easy, but it's so necessary to say no to things that don't align with the way you want to take. And don't forget, your time is the most valuable good on this earth, and you need to spend it on what matters most to you. Also, one thing that really helped me to stay on track is keeping my success journal. So every day I write down my small wins, no matter how tiny they are. For example, on some days I haven't even had the energy to, for example, vacuum my flat, and when I had the energy again, this was a really big highlight for me. And over the time, you will be able to look back and see how far you have become. And this is so powerful, because it's a great way to stay motivated, and also this helps you to keep pushing yourself forward, because you are seeing, oh my god, I have come so far, I can really be proud on myself. And here is a big one that might surprise you: really unsubscribe from distractions. And I have friends, for example, who post things that are not relevant for you anymore because it doesn't align with your goals. Literally unsubscribe from newsletters or social media profiles that no longer align with your goals and values. Because it's so easy to get pulled into a million distractions, but when you really cut this noise, you can stay laser focused on what's really important to you. While we are talking about the topic of focus, let's talk about emails. So checking your emails constantly throughout the day is also a big time waste. So instead, limit yourself by checking your emails, for example, 3 times a day. Once in the morning, once at the midday, and once in the afternoon. And believe me, you will save so much energy and so much time, and it was also a big game changer for me. Now let's flip the idea of a to-do list on its head. Have you ever done a not to-do list? I have done it, and I can tell you it was one of the best things for my productivity, because I identified the things that were major distractions for me, like spending too much time on my phone or, for example, watching Netflix. And as I found out that I spent too much time on those two things, I added them on my not to-do list. So once I became aware what was pulling me away from my goals, it became much easier for me to really avoid them. Because nowadays I don't watch Netflix at all. I just saw Emily in Paris, but this was the only series in months, and I can tell you it's so cool that I can really say now that I stick towards my goals, because my goals are more important for me than my distractions were. Another productivity tip is surround yourself with the right people. Find a motivational group or a community that lifts you up and keeps you accountable, because having a group of like-minded people who share your drive can really be incredibly powerful. And if you can, seek a mentor, someone who has been there where you want to go and who can guide you along this way. And also, one of the most important things I have learned is to regularly analyze your progress. So look at where you are, reflect on your wins and your setbacks, and always ask yourself how you can improve yourself, because it's all about conscious growth. And finally, really make sure that you finish what you started, because every time you leave a project unfinished, it drains your energy and also your focus, because it stays in your brain that you haven't done this task, for example, or project. And always remember that completing your task or your project always gives you a sense of accomplishment and frees up your mental space for the next thing. And before we wrap up, I have to refer to the importance of breaks. And I have to laugh, because this was really, or is, such an important topic, because I haven't done breaks, and I found out that breaks are so important. This is why I want to really dive deeper into this topic. Because I used to push myself, thinking that working longer and harder leads to better results, but exactly the opposite was the thing. So I learned that breaks are really essential, and I learned it the hard way. So whether it's a power nap or a quick workout or just stepping away from your desk will actually help you stay more focused and more productive in the long run. So next time when you are feeling that your productivity is sinking down, really step back and take a break, because the break will help you saving time instead of losing time. And the next time you don't feel like doing something, ask yourself, what would the best version of me do? And the next sentence I want to share with you is from a role model, and it's one of my favorite sentences, because it is about forget your mood and follow the plan. And it's such an important reminder that we are capable of so much more than we think, especially when we stay committed, no matter how we feel in the moment. For example, I never felt like doing a workout, but when I said to myself, I'm just doing it right now. Even if I don't feel like doing it, I just do it. Afterwards, I was so happy every time that I did it. And if you need a little extra push, try putting on, for example, some music. That also helps me a lot, because I often use music to get back into my zone when my motivation really starts to fade away. And always remember, there are so many uplifting songs, and those uplifting songs can really help you to get drive into your work days. So there you have it, my favorite productivity tips. I hope these strategies inspire you to control your time and also to align your tasks with your goals and move closer towards the life you want. So thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to hear from you how these tips worked for you. And if you liked my content, then follow me and explore yourself and the opportunities of our lives together. And please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate and ask me. I'm really thrilled to get to know you. All the best, your Alex.